Got the Animaniacs song in my head now from the other day.
Do you have the theme song or the thing I was singing?
Kind of both. A little bit of both. You know, we don't really have anymore is like that show tuney way that cartoons and Animaniacs, that old classic.
Yeah, Looney Tunes kind of. Yeah,
Yeah,
they don't do that. There's nothing like that anymore.
Oh, that was a good time.
Or you have like an orchestra playing the songs for every cartoon.
Yes.
There's none of that.
Golden era, as I like to say. Anything prior to Meghan Markle ruining my life is the golden era. She's back with a previous failure. I can't wait to share this with you. I'm a little upset about it. Obama divorce rumors settled. Tell you what Michelle said today. Tariffpalooza continues. Yeah. Pizza Hut is putting caviar on their pizzas, and the switch at birth story, Frankie C, will make your jaw drop. It is so crazy.
Sounds like a podcast.
Smells like a podcast too, in case anybody was curious. Hello, everybody.
It's like a podcast.
There you go. Is that? Wait a second. Hold on a second. We have major
Arizona.
Arizona. What did Snapple do to you? What happened?
These tariffs, man. I gotta. No, it's just I go back and forth between Arizona and Snapple.
All right, so you're like Trump: tariffs, no tariffs, tariffs, no tariffs. You're just.
If that helps you. Okay.
You have more in common than you know. I feel. I think you guys would get along.
Yeah.
Did you know this? I swear to God, I just read this morning. Steve Bannon tweeted earlier today that President Trump has a tendency to punch nightstands in his sleep. So I really think you guys would just hit it off.
Would we?
Well, not on everything, but I think you have more in common than you're both from Queens. Well, you're not really from Queens. Well, do you say you're from Queens, or do you say you're from Brooklyn?
Well, depends on the question. If someone says where you're from, I tell them where I'm living now. If someone says where were you born, I say Brooklyn. Where'd you grow up? Brooklyn, Queens.
Okay, so you're just
because I've moved around a lot.
You're just trying not to get punched. That's basically what it is.
I never say Staten Island, though.
That's good. Solid strategy. Okay, Frank, let's talk about this, because last episode we were talking. I want to retire Meghan Markle. I want to put this in a place where we don't have to talk about this anymore. And I feel like I always keep saying I don't envision us talking about this any further. But I know she's going to.
Here's the problem.
Yeah.
You create. Where is it? This rundown. So you have the power.
On the other side, but okay.
It's this side.
On my screen, it's this side. I don't know what's happening.
I'm pointing at the correct thing.
We're almost in the Walk Like an Egyptian video. If you're not.
What? See, the way I'm seeing it. We're both pointing at the same thing.
Oh, that's interesting.
I don't know what you're seeing.
What are you guys seeing? Because I'm pointing in the opposite direction from Frank right now.
That's weird.
Yeah, I think your screen might be backwards.
How could it be back? Yeah, I think. How did that happen?
Yeah.
When
will then be now?
Dude, this is backwards. What's going on?
You know I always drink coffee when we're trying to figure out which way the podcast is facing.
How the hell did that happen?
I don't know. Now point at the rundown. Now see, you're still.
Yeah, see, Coates is backwards. It's not good.
Oh, see, Coates is the right way on our screens. Yeah, see, you're.
All right, so then
your world's bizarro world.
I guess it's over here.
It is. You're nailing it.
Yeah.
Good job.
Because I'm looking at myself on the screen here, and I'm the rundown's over here.
Yeah,
that's weird. That's never happened. That's what I'm looking at. Before we started, I'm looking at my screen. I'm going, something's off. I don't know what it is. I'm looking at it. I'm going, this is weird. I can't place it. It's never like this. But I had to re-download the thing or something. So had to refresh the whole thing. So now it's all flippity floppity. I don't understand. All right,
we're flippity floppity world. That's all right. No big deal.
Let me see if I can flip the camera. Mirror my camera. No, I think I fixed it.
You fix it? Great.
How's that?
Now you're seeing what everybody's seeing. There you go. There you go.
There it is.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
Now we're good. That feels so much better. I was all backwards. I was in Narnia for a minute.
What were you starting to say 25 minutes ago when we started this?
Oh, you control the rundown.
Yes.
So you have the power to delete it from this thing.
Yes.
We don't have to talk about it.
Yes. I think we're going to do that. I think I'm going to go out on a limb and say this is going to be the last episode we talk about Meghan Markle.
Yeah, I wouldn't put money on that.
Yeah, because when she comes out with her second season, I'm sure people are going to be all over us for that.
It's been the number one topic for how many episodes? You get all of a sudden disappear on Friday.
I can't talk about her anymore. That's it. Last episode we talked about the New York Times or Post, I forget who, they shit all over her product. They all taste tested her product. Like one person liked it and everybody else was like, it's okay. And then the food critic was like, this is terrible. And then somebody everybody correct me if I'm wrong, but in the Discord, in the AOA podcast Discord, they shared a video that like the reviews coming back in are not great. I clicked on it for 2 seconds. I didn't watch the whole thing. So please correct me if I'm wrong in what's in the Discord. But the synopsis of what I was getting from it was that nobody really likes this stuff that she's making. So, which I'm not surprised. This is going to be a failure.
Wait, you don't like pretzels in a bowl?
No.
How could you not like that? I mean, it's not.
They're talking about her like jams and her.
Oh, right.
The products, the actual products are getting,
Okay.
Which again, her products are going to be a failure. As ever is going to be a failure. I guarantee it. It will be a failure because she's a failure. The Netflix show, after this Netflix show comes out and they realize that there's no reason to send a crew back in there to produce these shows, because remember, these were filmed all together. They just released half at one time. And once they realize that they're not going to recoup any sort of money from her from selling those products that are not getting well reviewed, Netflix will cancel her deal as well. And I say this with full confidence because of this update. And the update is, even though Meghan Markle already failed at this, she's trying again. So this is her little failure comeback. It was announced that she is going to have another Meghan Markle podcast. So for those of you who don't know, which is everybody, she had a podcast circa Spotify, which paid her $20 million. $20 million. So if anybody's wondering or keeping track at home, 20 million more than what Frankie and I are making for this.
If you round up or down, either way, you don't have to move. You don't have to move a decimal.
$20 million she was paid. I believe, I don't know for certain. I believe she had to give it all back.
Give it all back?
I think so. I think so. I would be amazed if Spotify let her keep that because it was canceled. The podcast was canceled. It was such a wild failure that they terminated the contract. They both mutually agreed to part ways. So I don't remember if they paid her if there was like a little up front and then they wound up not getting it back or whatever it was, but it was a disaster. The podcast was a disaster. And by the way, the podcast goes back to where my dislike for her started, because if you remember, it was a podcast episode where she was trying to pretend to be a victim because she was holding the case on Who Wants to Hold a Case Millionaire show, whatever the hell it was called. And she was like, oh, they exploited us. It was long days and we had to stand there and we're tight dressed, whatever the hell she said it was. It was like, and by the way, it wasn't just me. It was a lot of people calling her out for, that's not victim shaming. What is it? Victim. I don't know. She was trying to be a victim.
It's not blaming.
No. When you're trying to be a victim, when you're trying to exploit being a victim and you're not, I don't know, whatever the hell.
I think it's just that. I don't know if there's a phrase for it.
So that was a historic $20 million deal. And by the way, this was at the time when these big companies were handing out all these deals. This was like Joe Rogan time, Call Her Daddy time.
So now, wait a minute. Now, did the podcast just suck, or did nobody tune in?
Yes.
Got it.
Yes. I remember listening to just that portion to hear what she had said and just being like, this is terrible. By the
But
way,
she got no
nothing.
Numbers. Okay.
Do you think Spotify, who was, again, 100 million behind Joe Rogan, I forget how many million behind Call Her Daddy, and then they rolled it. Do you think that they would have let that fail if it was a success? If they had the money coming in?
But where is this? Now she's doing another podcast. Who's giving her that? Who's fronting her that money?
Great question. A company called Lemonada, which I have never heard of. And again, this is our game, right? We're in this industry.
Iced tea.
Yeah, Lemonada, I think, is the new company, which I have not heard of, but I'm not surprised. Here's the thing. There's a new podcast company every 5 seconds, just like there's a new podcast. Everybody's trying to revolutionize the industry with some sort of new take. But the truth of the matter is this really hasn't changed since Apple started the first podcast. You know, I mean, it really has been all the same. Yes, we've had some new things with inserting ads and revenue sharing and YouTube and all that, but it's the same game.
Well, here's the deal. She doesn't have to get paid to do she could do anybody could do a podcast and not get, and then hope someone sponsors it. She doesn't have to get paid to do the podcast right off the bat.
Right.
So if she wants to just do a podcast, she could do it. The question is so it's a company that sponsors podcast, that puts up the money for podcasts?
Essentially, yeah. So, well, I don't even know. I don't even know because I don't know what her split is or what her deal would be. I mean, there are some podcasts that just, like, we self-distribute. We're on every single network, but we do it on our own. There are other companies that do that, and then they'll sell the ad space and the revenue, and like all our revenue splits are with YouTube and all those things. So it depends on what you're doing, but usually these podcast companies are part of a network. So it's like they bring you in with all the other things and then they sell X amount of space. So they might not. So, okay. So for instance, let's say that Meghan brings in 30,000 listeners. And then there's another 50,000 people that are listening to the podcast on whatever this platform is. Like, so assuming that they're not listening on Spotify or Apple Podcast or whatever, that they're listening through Lemonada. That's 80,000 people listening that you can sell an ad that you can insert into all of those shows, whether it's 30,000 of hers and 50,000 of the combination of all the other ones. So that's how a lot of these podcast companies work. They don't all necessarily sell. And in fact, all these little companies have been basically combining into, it's unsustainable. They cannot survive because you know what it is. It's when people buy ads online, it's cost per milli. So you're paying for a little bit amount of money for 1,000, impressions on an ad. It's not, it doesn't always equate up to $20 million being able to pay somebody. You know what I mean?
So she's getting 20. What is she getting for this deal?
I don't know.
And when does it start?
Soon.
And this is going, and she has the show on Netflix, and then when that's in the off season, she's going to do the podcast, and then she's going to go back to Netflix and do that, and then I guess go back and forth on and off.
Correct. And I'll tell you what's happening because it all makes sense to me now, because I did some digging and I was able to find this stuff out. So she's coming back with a podcast. Don't know what the deal is specifically, but she's already starting with her old typical bullshit. Like, she went on another podcast to promote and she was like, oh, wait, hold on. Okay. Lemonada is the company. The new podcast is going to be called Confessions of a Female Founder. The first one was called Archetypes or something. It was, these are awful, stupid names.
What is she going to be confessing?
Oh, fuck. I mean, just awful. She went on some other podcasts to talk about her new podcast. And she basically was like, oh, yeah, we had a huge health scare and blah, 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 and all this stuff. She had preeclampsia.
Okay.
Something, or I don't know. She had some fucking thing. The host of that podcast, Whitney Wolf, I think is her name. She had preeclampsia. It's something that happens around birth.
Okay.
We don't know if it was the first kid she had or the second kid she had. But basically, oh wait, I'm sorry. Hold on. All right. See, you got me all, Frank. You got me all flustered.
I haven't said anything in a couple minutes, so I don't know what's going on.
I'm saying the wrong things here.
I'm looking forward to launching into a tirade about the tariffs. So buckle up, everyone.
Okay, hold on. Okay, no, I got okay. All right, back. Okay, she put out the first episode. So on the first episode of her podcast, she admitted that she had postpartum preeclampsia. She was interviewing Bumble founder Whitney Wolf Herd, Herd, and they both bonded over postpartum preeclampsia. Now, I wish we had Jay Sebs on the episode right now because she is the only one, believe it or not, out of all the AOA hosts, she's the only one to have a baby, to be pregnant.
True.
She's done it multiple times too. So,
we don't Cuddles.
Yeah, but that wasn't me. Oh, true. I don't think Cuddles considers herself a host, a special guest. I think she likes to call herself. Yeah. I don't know what preeclampsia is. I'm assuming. Okay, let's see here. Preeclampsia is a pregnancy-specific disorder characterized by high blood pressure and protein in the urine, usually occurring after 20 weeks, and can lead to complications for both mother and baby if not managed properly. Okay, so I'm sure it's a serious thing. I'm sure it's a thing.
Absolutely. It sounds not good.
However, if you've ever gone through a pregnancy, which I have, a lot of things pop up during these things, right? Sure. I mean, it's kind of rare actually that you go through a pregnancy without a little bit of a, whoa, is everything going to be okay? Like, I feel like almost every pregnancy is you have that moment of like, oh, is this going to be okay? Like, are we, so that I don't want to take away from her issue or anybody who's had preeclampsia, but this really reminds me of when Will Smith's wife was like, I have, what was the balding thing she had? Alopecia. She's like, well, I have alopecia. I'm and people are like, that's not a fucking, like, you're lit, like, like people act like they have like cancer. That's a thing to be like, I have cancer, and people be like, oh, okay. And that's the problem with our society right now is there are serious things and there's things that are like, oh, that sucks, but you'll live. You'll be okay. You can overcome it. It's not that bad. But those people act like they're at the same level as the cancer people. And it's just like, you're not. The cancer people are battling something that is really life-threatening. You know what I mean? And they can go on.
Is preeclampsia life-threatening?
I mean, listen, it can be. It can,
shut up.
It can be, but most of the people that are involved with it, they are okay. Just like Meghan Markle. I mean, this
Bird
is like
in the chat says preeclampsia is life-threatening.
It is, yeah. But I mean, it's kind of like saying, oh, I had 104 fever. That's not great. If it shoots up to like a 105, 106, 107, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. But everybody's pretty much dealt with this, right? I mean, everybody had chicken pox. Like, I mean,
I think you just hate Meghan Markle. You just don't want to give her an inch here.
Well, and I'll tell you why. And again, I don't want to minimize preeclampsia because again, it's serious. However, it's no surprise that she brings this up on the first episode and has the Bumble co-founder or the Bumble founder on who's experienced the same thing. Like, she built the episode around this story. And then this story is what gets put out via press release to all the media outlets. So the story and the headline, if you search Meghan Markle right now, is Meghan Markle reveals life-threatening illness on first podcast episode, because they're trying to get clicks and downloads and listens. I get it. We do the same thing. Not so shady, but we do. Well, everybody tries to get everybody to listen to their podcast. but it's so premeditated and goes back to the fact that she cannot be genuine. It's like you are a perfectly healthy human being. You are so fortunate to be in the position that you're in, despite the fact that you've torpedoed your husband's family where all of your money comes from, right? And nobody would give a shit about you. You would have been the fifth lead on a USA show that is long in our rear view mirror, even though it's making a comeback on Netflix. And everybody would have forgotten about you. You would have just gone into the nothingness if it wasn't for the fact that you married Prince Harry. And now you are going to slide this, I had this thing to try and launch in a medium that you've already failed at, and wildly, by the way. I mean, Frank said it before, anybody can have a podcast. She has managed to fail at being able to do a podcast. I don't even think her last one went more than like 5 or 6 episodes before they were pulled the plug on it. Spotify, who put almost billions, I shouldn't say almost, but they put billions of dollars into podcasting, and not just getting Joe Rogan or whatever. But do you remember when we were invited to do the first round of video like we were before a lot of people to do video podcasting on Spotify, and even watching how they launched that, I was just like, oh, they must have put a lot of money into this, like just the technology just to be able to achieve these things. And servers and storage. It's not easy. It's not cheap. She failed at it. She couldn't even do what everybody does normally. And now she's coming back around again, and she's going to use illness as an excuse to get people to come in and watch. I hope people go and watch. I hope people download and listen to that podcast. I hope they do. And then I hope that they go, what am I doing with my life? Because I can guarantee you, like my dream is that first episode, all the preeclampsia people find common ground with her and go and download it and watch or listen to it. I hope it gets listened to by all 365 million Americans. I hope it gets listened to by 6 billion people on the planet Earth. And I guarantee you that episode 2 will get less than 10,000 downloads because people have listened to the whole thing and go, I can't listen. This is unbearable to listen to, because she's a talentless piece of shit who's riding the coattails of her husband, who can't pull. I'm telling you.
I wish you felt this passionately about things that actually matter. I mean, you are just all in with this.
Well, I was thinking about this. I was like giving you a hard time for the whole Trump thing until Meghan Markle came into my life. And then I was like, I understand how Frank feels about Trump now, because it's like, everything. What?
I don't think you do.
Every little thing. No, but it's like it's inescapable now, and everybody is sending me these things. And okay, so here's the backstory of all of it. Ari Emanuel, who is like one of the most powerful people in everything. I don't even want to say Hollywood. It's like everything. Like he's in the UFC, WWE company now. Like that, there's a whole thing that he's in on. He runs WME, which is the biggest talent agency in the world, which again, they're not even just repping actors and actresses and directors, writers, like everybody they represent now, authors, everybody, right? He was the one. He's engineered all of this. So when they decided to split from the royal family, and they knew that was all happening, and this idea of like, hey, we're going to do a tell-all, that remember Oprah and all that shit happened, that was all him. He looked at this and thought, this is a money-making opportunity. He signed Meghan Markle. He put all this shit into motion. And listen, he has been a success. Ari from Entourage is based off of Ari Emanuel, the real life person. Mm-hmm. So this character of like the star creator, the Hollywood, agent who moves mountains and gets things done. That's this guy. This guy is literally one of the most powerful people on the planet. Like puts together huge $1 billion deals, like just mover and a shaker, one of the top 5 in the last 15, 20 years. Okay. He saw this as a money-making opportunity. He laid all this stuff out. I don't know if he saw or realized, it's like when you buy a lemming and you're like, oh shit, this car, it's got a lot of problems to it, even though, overall, gets good reviews. This one's a lemming. I don't think he realized he has a lemming on his hands. Lemon on his hands. Sorry.
Thank you. I was going to say, do you
Sorry.
mean
Did I say
lemon?
lemming? Yeah.
You said lemming.
I was thinking about all her fans.
Sting.
He put this, so because I was like, how did she? So he got her the Netflix deal. He got her.
All right.
His idea.
So what's your beef?
No, because it's all this massive, big, convoluted plan from somebody that's like, can I turn my $1 billion into $1.2 billion with this idiot? I think we can try it, and then did.
Well, they're trying it. I mean, it's is it going to work?
No.
I mean, well,
no.
Would you have called the Netflix series, the first season, a success?
No, failure, massive failure. Massive failure, because I could tell by the way Ted Sarandos was interviewed and answered the questions, because why on earth would Netflix admit to getting a piece of her business unless they had to answer the question, why are you doing this? You know what I'm saying? Like, cause if it was a wild success and it was entertaining, nobody would be asking him, why are you putting this shit on your service when it's getting massacred in the media for reviews? And so he has to go, oh, well, here's why. He's justifying it. Here's why, because we're getting a piece of her. It's a new business model for us that we're trying, was his exact answer.
Okay.
So it's that's going to be a failure. Her as ever brand is going to be a failure.
It sold out already, didn't it, though?
It means nothing. Again, if I put 100 things on sale, I can sell out too and tell everybody how great it was that we sold out. So that means nothing. That's going to be a failure. And the best part of all of this is she is going to be a 2-time failure at podcasting. And that is the moment that we are going to put her in the podcasting Hall of Fame, because I don't know anybody else who has failed so wildly at this medium, which again is not easy to do, but anybody can do it.
Right.
You don't have to have a great podcast to do to do 300 episodes of a pod. Like, you could do it. There are people out there that have 0 listeners that do a show every day or every week, and they just keep at it because they like doing it.
Yeah, no, I get it. Maybe she just likes doing this and she likes to,
Maybe she does. But at some point, it's like, at some point.
You just spent 25 minutes talking about her. I doubt this is the last time we're going to talk about her.
I think this is the last time we're going to talk about her. I can't talk about her anymore. I will talk about her.
I get that you can't do it, but only you have the power to not put her in the rundown.
Okay. I promise. Okay. Here's the thing. I will not put this woman on the show any longer, except for 2 more times. The day her second season comes out on Netflix, because I'm sure we're going to catch a landslide of feedback and comments. So I will address season 2 when that comes. And then the day that she loses her spot, the day she loses her podcast, the day that the podcast goes dark and everybody goes, oh, this is a wild failure. That's it.
Well, I don't know. Okay. I mean, maybe, but I think Fly NY just gifted a membership simply so we can change the subject.
Is that right? Okay. I will move on. But I'm just saying, it is amazing.
But we appreciate it.
That thank you, Fly NY. And I appreciate everybody. And I wish you would become a member, like Fly NY is encouraging everybody to do, of this podcast that at least gives back, at least does something. And I don't want to compare ourselves to Meghan Markle, because there's talent on this show. And on that show, there's Meghan Markle. But this is going to be the biggest failure. I mean, she is going to fail
I get it. You don't like her. We get it.
And it's going to go. This keeps coming up. Is he just continuing? I don't know if he's just gifting multiple. There's like 3 now. He's just.
Are these multiple gifts?
I think so.
Man.
Paul goes, and can you get a meeting with Ari? I would love to. I'd love to get a meeting with Ari. Yeah.
That'd be nice.
No, Ari's moving out. Ari put together that guy put together a deal. He decided.
Give him a call. What are we doing?
He woke up one day and thought, I think I could buy the UFC, and then I think I could buy the WWE so that I just control all sorts of sports entertainment. And
Yeah,
he did it.
I woke up and thought the same thing, but then reality set in, and I went, "Yeah, I can't do that."
And I mean, imagine getting Vince McMahon, like a family-owned company like that, getting them to sell. Like it's near impossible. And this
Yeah,
guy did it.
well,
So
give him a call.
if she does, any little bit of success she has will be entirely up to this guy and her husband, and will have zero to do with her.
What is he doing these days? She's doing the podcast, the show. She's got her as ever stuff.
Yeah.
Is he just like sitting around watching TV and just hanging around, or is he doing stuff?
Well, I don't know. He got into some trouble with a charity, but I didn't even want to read it because I don't want to. I like him. I already feel bad for him. He's
Right.
already suffered 2 big tragedies in his life. 3. His mother died, his grandma died, and he married this woman. Those are 3 things that people don't survive or come back from, and he's still kicking.
True.
Especially when the last thing is such a soul draining. Like, could you imagine being married? Your wife is lovely. You have no fucking sense of what this is like to be this
That's
guy.
true.
I mean, just everything that I'm going to start a podcast today, and he's got to sit there and go, "Oh, I think that's a great idea, honey. Let's ignore the fact that the last one was a $20 million blunder that we had to fucking cover up and, delete so nobody could listen to."
Is it still out there for people to hear?
I don't know. Maybe. I
I'm
guess.
sure it exists in some form or another.
They hired a producer. Then they thought that they were going to produce multiple. This is what I love about podcasting. People think, "Oh, we'll make several." Oh, because then you go, "Oh, it's mics aren't expensive, lighting's not expensive, a set's not expensive. Oh, we could put this thing. We can make multiple of these." And then she hired a producer, somebody to run the podcast, her podcast division, where she was going to produce. It was all gone within months. It had all imploded on itself. And Spotify had to walk back all the publicity that they were trying to garner up to get people to listen to this thing and be like, "We decided to part ways mutually," and all this shit. Like, it was a fucking failure.
Maybe this lemonade place is striking while the iron's hot. There's some scuttlebutt around Meghan Markle nowadays. So maybe they're like, "Oh, maybe there's something to be made here for that Lemonada or whatever it's called can make some sort of name for itself with this because she's somewhat talked about and whatever."
Well, that's what it is, right? Nobody's heard of Lemonada. You and I haven't. They think, "Oh, this is a chance to get our brand in front of a few more eyes," which it'll do for them.
Sure.
But if it's not good, nobody's going to be there after.
No, I know. You know what I want to know is Obama getting divorced?
Yes. Quickly. No.
Okay. So how about these tariffs?
Next topic. No. Michelle Obama, she was on a podcast today, and she was like, she said something that I find interesting, and I'd love to get your take on this. She's basically saying how women. Okay, so they're not getting divorced, according to her.
Okay.
She says, "I, for the first time in a long time, woke up and realized I get to control what I do. I get to control my calendar," I think is the way she put it. And coming out of 8 years at the White House, where every second of your day is like predetermined for you.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, even if you're like, "Oh, I want to work on this initiative and I want to work on that initiative." Okay, but even then, like, that's like the last decision you get, then they're just like pointing you in all the directions that you got to go in. She just decided, "I want to just control my calendar and do whatever I want." And sometimes that's going to be, there's going to be things that are no for me, and I'm just not going to go. And so she was like, "That's just what I decided to do." And she brought up a point that was like, because I just decided to say no, all of us, that it couldn't just be a woman making a decision. It had to turn into, well, they must be getting divorced. Like, she was kind of pointing out, like, isn't it weird how women can't just like be perceived to decide that they don't want to go to something? Like, right away, it's got to be like this big turmoil.
I still don't know what started the divorce rumors.
Internet people. I think it was just internet people kind of putting together. She didn't go to the Jimmy Carter funeral, and there was something else. Was it? I think it was Trump's inauguration.
She wasn't at the inauguration, but I feel like that was
it. It was because those two were relatively close to each other, were they not? Didn't Carter die just before he was inaugurated?
He died before. He died like a month before, because he didn't want. Because Trump's a petty asshole that didn't want the flags lowered at half-mast for his inauguration because it wouldn't look right. People don't want to see that.
Well, you remember that? I totally forgot that.
Because, it's the president. You remember everything about Meghan Markle. I remember,
And another thing about no, I'm just kidding.
No.
So that was basically her take, which I found interesting because I was like, oh yeah, but that's what to answer your question. She didn't show up at Carter's. She didn't show up at the inauguration. So that's two high-profile events where every former president and their wife was there. So that's what started to set off the alarms. And then when Obama, I forget if it was after the Academy Award or whatever it was, Obama went to a restaurant. He was walking in a restaurant and there was a woman there that wasn't Michelle. And everybody was just like, oh my God.
He can't be seen with women.
And then somebody dug up the clip of Michelle Aniston, Jennifer Aniston, talking about that, she had Obama's cute, Barack is cute. Then everybody was like, oh, they must be banging each other. That was the crazy turn in that whole scenario.
Rumors just like that. Rumors just catch fire. Yeah. It's unreal.
So kind of crazy. But I mean, we saw the photo that they tweeted on their anniversary. And even people were like, well, that's a cover up. But I mean, now at this point where she's just like, I'm just controlling my destiny and I'm just going to go where I want to go. And, we'll do things together. Yeah. We'll do things apart. And that's good. And listen, I get it. I mean, I don't know how long they've been married for. Their kids are out of the house. So they're empty nesters. I know that's a big life change for a lot of people. Like, I don't think my parents have still gotten over me not living with them anymore. Like, I don't know about you, but I'm still, or like Erin, maybe I'm still getting I'll get a call from my mom every now and even before my father fell, but she'll be like, you don't even know what it's like to live with your father. And I'm like, just tell me if you're okay or not. Like, I mean, like, do I need to come there? Like, are you okay?
My parents don't have that problem.
Yeah, but I'm sure your mom complains about whatever, but just this whole, like, you don't even understand what it's like to live with your father. And I'm like, no, I lived with him till I was like 27. I get it, but it's so funny to me because both my parents are both so annoying in their own wonderful ways, and they always like expect me to take a side over the other one. And I'm like, I don't know if you realize I left the both of you. Like I could have stayed with you and I decided to leave.
You couldn't have stayed with them.
No, probably not. No, my dad was sad when I moved out, Yeah. He was sad. He didn't take it too well. He didn't ever show it to me because he's a man.
So how did you know?
We got into a little tiff and he was being like not unreasonable, but like he said something to me and like he was angry and I was like, why is he getting so angry over this? And then I kind of realized like, oh, he's upset that I'm leaving, You
did the what's that TV show? The Daniel Stern inner monologue.
Yeah, kind of Wonder Years.
Yeah, exactly. You were like, I think Dad really wanted me around, but he didn't want to say it.
Basically, yeah. Basically,
the mamas and papas playing in the background. It's a weird moment.
That would have been nice. I would have loved some mamas and the papas. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, all my inner thoughts are scored with Dave Matthews Band music, so not enough of a variety there.
But, so bottom line is they're not getting divorced. Good for them.
So they're not getting divorced. We can move on from that. But it's a shrink, like it's an empty nester time. I know. It's an empty nester time. It's a big struggle. I think a lot of couples go through a weird time when that shit happens because then suddenly the kids aren't there that much anymore. They only have each other to deal with who they kind of really haven't. But like, I can't tell you how many times my wife and I are like, we'll be sitting together or whatever. And we'll be like, I kind of miss you. And like the other person will be like, yeah, I know, I miss you too. Like we live together, we sleep together, we have dinner together. Like everything is together, but it's so like all encompassing with the kids that you don't even feel like you're together when you are.
Just wait until what? They're out of the house and you're, 100 years old.
I know. Well, that's why I'm nice to my wife now, because I'm like, oh, when it's just us, I want her to still like me. So I'm trying to bank goodwill for that time. Yeah, which is not easy.
We'll see.
Not an easy thing to do.
The long
All
road.
right. The tariffs.
These fucking tariffs. Anyway, so he enacts these tariffs yesterday. The stock market goes into the toilet.
No, it was Friday. Well, was Friday the announcement? Friday was the announcement. The stock market started to tank. Friday was when, on Friday's episode, we talked about the trillions of dollars that had been wiped. 6.4 trillion had been wiped from the stock market. Friday.
Right. Okay. So he enacts these tariffs, and then he wakes up and goes, all right, we're going to put a pause on the tariffs. So the stock markets crash. Then he says, we're going to pause the tariffs except for China. So the stock market climbs again. But before he announced that they're going to pause the tariffs, he tells the world on his Truth Social, now's a good time to buy stocks. And then he goes and says, we're going to pause the tariffs. And the stock market goes up. So it's either one or two things, and both things are ridiculous. One, he's an idiot.
As ridiculous as a 2-time failing podcaster?
More.
Okay. All right. The bold statement.
One's criminal. One is he's an idiot and he doesn't know what he's doing, which is pretty good chance that he said, it's one of two things. Either he said the word tariffs and he heard the idea and he said it out loud in front of people. And because he was so gung-ho about it, he couldn't back down because of his pride. He couldn't say, no, I'm changing my mind on tariffs, because then it would be him admitting that he's wrong. So he kept doubling down on this tariff thing, tariff. He enacts the tariffs, stock market tanks. Okay. Then he reverses it and pretends it's all a strategy and says, oh, see, you got to stick with me. So he creates a problem, solves it, and then says, look how I solved the problem. That's one scenario.
Okay.
Second scenario is he tanks the stock market on purpose and gets all his rich friends to buy low, and then intentionally inflates it again.
It's an interesting premise.
Is massively illegal.
I will say, I mean, everybody knows you buy in a dip. That's not new knowledge. Like that's
but when you control the stock market and you manipulate the stock market, that's illegal. You can't manipulate the market like that. You can't. If your announcement is going to, everybody knows whatever you say is going to affect the stock market. You can't tell all your friends, hey, it's the time to buy, because now I'm going to say something.
Tell it to Nancy Pelosi. I mean, I would love to know. There's an app that tracks like what the Congress people buy and stuff like that. I would love to know what Eric, Don, and Ivanka were doing I would love to know what their trades were over the last couple of days.
Big fan of, if you are a leader in government, congressperson, senator, president, vice president, and in their families, you cannot buy stocks. You get your government salary, and that is it, because you are a public figure that determines policy. That's like I don't know. It's like the person running I'm trying to think of like a comparison. If you're running the card game and you're the dealer and you're betting, you know what I mean? And you're betting on, it's like you're betting on your own team to win the Super Bowl. You can't gamble.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like you control it.
You're saying the NFL and Major League Baseball have stricter rules than the United States government.
That's what I'm saying. Yes.
Gotcha. Got it.
They're not allowed to gamble on their own outcomes and everything. So why would people in the government, who literally everything they say decides if the stock market goes up or down, why should they be able to play in the stock market?
Yeah, I bet you there's people that made millions in the last couple of days.
Of course they did.
I don't think it's just his friends. I think it's a lot of
a lot
who
of
are
people.
smart and
A lot of
bought
people.
low.
Yeah, 100%. Well, here's the thing. And I even said this to my wife. Not that we have a lot of money to throw around, but I'm like, now's the time to buy shit. But
Exactly.
here's the problem. When I said that on, what was it, Monday? You don't know how far the bottom is. Like, and honestly, the way he was going with this, when he didn't reverse things on Monday, I was like, he is not going to let this go. I'm like, I was stunned 4 hours ago, when he put the 90-day hold on this thing. And he said everybody was getting the yips. Like, the yips is in golf when you get nervous and you don't swing right. He's like, too many people were getting the yips. I'm like, is this the same guy? I was stunned that he announced a pause on this.
He doesn't know how to handle this. He's not capable of sitting there going, all right, this is the plan, and we're going to stick to it. He's playing this day by day and making it up as he's going along, because it literally said, all right, so they're accusing him. Adam Schiff is putting together things to investigate the stock manipulation assertion. And he says, his claim is, I just came up with the 90-day thing this morning. It's like, well, what do you
Adam Schiff has got to go. Let me tell you something. Adam Schiff is the worst thing for the Democratic Party. I fucking can't stand that guy.
Well, why?
Because now he's going to invest. There is you could not, even if we all knew he did this, you cannot prove this. You just cannot.
He did it in broad daylight. What do you mean prove?
It's unprovable. It cannot be proven.
How? We all saw it happen.
But you can't prove
that's like when what's his name? Musk bought Twitter, and then he decided, no, I'm not going to sell it. Well, the stock I'm not going to buy it. I mean, he said. So they forced him to do. Once he just said he was going to do it, they literally forced him to. They said, no, you can't back out now, because the stock market is now adjusting to. You're going to tank the stock, and it's going to fuck over a lot of people. So he had to go through with it.
God, I got you. But here's the difference. It's intention. You cannot prove intention. They cannot prove that he did this intentionally just to tank the market.
If he made millions of dollars off of it.
Cannot be done. It'll never.
Check his stock portfolio.
They'll never tie that back to him ever.
Check his stock portfolio.
I doubt that he himself personally purchased stock in
his family.
His family, but again, and if Nancy Pelosi can get away with it, you're not going to nail the Trump kids for that. This is no fucking way.
He just left and right.
By the way,
around the law.
I get it. No, I understand I believe it. I'm not trying to downplay your frustration. I get it. But even if you can show that Don Jr. purchased, 50 million shares of whatever and profited, even with that, you will still never get a conviction out of something like this, because everybody had the opportunity to buy these stocks with the knowledge of what was going on out there.
Because
the only way you could do it is if you have him on tape calling Don Jr. and telling him, I'm going to announce tomorrow a pause. Everything's going to go up. So make sure you buy something tonight. With just shy of having that tape, you'll never prove this ever. And so to send people on a witch, and Adam Schiff is the biggest piece of shit when it comes to this, because he loves to see his name in fucking headlines, and he will drag the Democratic Party further down this shithole that they've been in with something stupid like this.
Well, it's insane that he just keeps using the government just to make him and his friends rich. That's his whole fucking motive from day one. Everything he's been doing has been enriching him and his fucking friends. The only good thing he got done in his first 4 years was a tax break for billionaires and millionaires. That's all he got done in his first 4 years. Now, this time, we're at 3 months in.
That's all?
Yeah. What else did he do?
Well,
one other thing. Give me one other thing.
Today. He made other people, what?
Give me one other thing he did in his first 4 years.
Wait, I want to go back to Anthony's point for a minute. One thing.
Okay.
You're correct in saying that it's hard to prove that, because as the only person on this podcast who worked in in finance on Wall Street.
Also the only one pregnant. I brought that up earlier. Not that you give me credit for that, but okay.
It is very hard to prove this because I've seen it personally within like my firm. Like it's hard to prove insider trading. It really is.
They got Martha Stewart.
Well, because they're after
I don't know
Martha.
I don't know how they got her.
My Martha.
Yeah, poor Martha.
But there's a lot of people who do shady things every day.
But the president of the United States shouldn't be doing shady shit every day. It's so blatant. It's not. Maybe you don't have him saying the words. I'm gonna dump the stock market and then buy everything and then make billions. You don't have him literally
honestly,
saying those words. But that's what happened.
Think he did this
well,
just
if he did it?
Do you think he did this just for that? If you do, I disagree because I honestly think he.
Then why else?
I honestly think he thinks he is going to fix America and our trade debt. Nobody, by the way, right or left, nobody doubts that the China trade issue has been an issue. This shit has been written about since the Reagan administration.
Yeah, but the right in the news, the Fox and whoever else has been playing it off since he started the tariffs, since they went into action, and everybody's 401k tanked, and everybody was freaking out about the stock market. They were going, it's no big deal. Don't worry about it. It's going to be fine. Don't worry.
Yeah, because that's what they do. Who gives a shit what Fox says, though? I mean, that's what
you just said. The right and left have been calling it a problem, and not the right.
No. I'm saying we don't have fair trade with China. No. We haven't had since like the 80s. I'm saying everybody agrees that that's a problem. He honestly thinks he is going to fix that. And he honestly thinks that between Doge and the trade issues, he's going to fix the deficit. I no doubt in my body and mind, that's what he thinks. That's how I feel. I don't think he's doing this for get rich quick schemes. I think that's what all the coins and the watch and the Bibles.
That's all. He's not. You think he's doing this for the good of the country? You're very misled. I'm
not saying it's good.
No. Do you think his intention is to make the country better? Then you're terribly misled.
His intention is to do so well this time that he will be remembered as the greatest president ever. His intention is to leave the White House, hopefully in 2028, and have everybody patting him on the back, going, "Great job!" And not just everybody, by the way.
Doesn't matter what he.
Let me amend that. Hold on. Let me amend that. He wants Democrats to pat him on the back. That's not going to happen. And say, "You really saved the country, Mr. President. You did it." That's his intention. That's what he wants.
No, it isn't. He couldn't give a shit. I can tell you right now, he doesn't give a shit about that.
I disagree with you.
Because he's going to leave whenever he leaves the presidency, the Republicans are going to pat him on the back no matter what, because everybody's signed in.
Which is why that means nothing. Which is why that means that's why he wants the Democrats.
No,
because the Republicans
he doesn't want the Democrat. He knows he's never going to win over the Democrats. He knows that. He's never going to win them over. He's said it multiple times. He has said it multiple times. I could cure cancer and they'll never give me the credit, blah, blah, blah. Problem is, when you take away cancer research, you're not curing cancer and you're not even coming close to it. You're doing the exact opposite.
You're proving my point.
Cancer is cured already. They just make so much money off.
That's another
tinfoil hat over here.
Yeah. Okay. If he cured cancer, that'd be great, and we'd all pat him on the back. But the problem is, he would never do that because he consciously took research away from cancer research for kids, children's cancer research. He defunded it, and nobody gave a shit. That was a month ago, and Doge, and they took away all the money for that, and they said we're not giving money into that. So spare me this. I could cure cancer, and nobody would give me credit. He's not even trying to do anything good like that.
You're proving my point. By the way, Robin, I think is on your side. You're proving my point, which is that's why he says those things. That's why he says I could cure cancer, and the left still wouldn't give it. He wants that approval.
He doesn't give a
Oh
fuck
no,
about the
no,
right,
no,
the
no.
left approval.
When
He
Donnie
doesn't
goes
want
to
them.
bed, no.
No.
When he goes to bed at night, he just thinks he dreams about Obama coming up to him and go, we doubted you, and I don't know why. You did such a great job, buddy.
No,
That's what he
you're out of your
fucking
mind.
dreams of. I believe that.
No, he dreams of defeating Obama in some way. He dreams of reversing everything he's done.
No,
He
and
doesn't
I'll tell
care
you
about
why.
getting his praise. He cares about defeating him.
I'll tell you why. I disagree with you. Because he beat Hillary, and it still wasn't enough for him.
Notice he stopped talking about Hillary.
He did, and he beat it, but it still burns his. I'm telling you, that man will not be happy until a Democrat goes, "You did good. You actually did good."
He doesn't. I'm telling you.
I think when he listen to what I'm going to say to you.
Okay.
When he closes the door, at night, and he pulls out that little orange PP,
Melania goes to another room and closes her door,
and he starts playing with it, and he's in there, and he's having his own private time, and he's twisting his nipples. It's a Democrat congratulating him that makes him orgasm.
No, it's not.
Exactly
it's
what happens.
His own suck ups doing it. That's what fucking feeds him. Yeah. His party and his everybody in the White House kissing his ass. He said it today or yesterday. He was on stage saying that these countries are calling now and kissing my ass. He literally said they're calling now and kissing my ass.
Yeah,
those were his words.
Because that he loves.
That's what he wants. He doesn't give a fuck about half the country. I'm telling you.
But why does he love that so much? Because he's turned those people.
It feeds his ego.
Yes. Yeah, but he's turned those people. By the way, the other big orgasm he's going to have is when this whole China thing is going to, I don't know where this is going to go to. It's going to escalate to ridiculousness. We're just retaliating back and forth at this point with China. He wants China to pick up the phone. A reporter asked him in the Oval Office yesterday, do you want China to pick up the phone? And him and who's the blonde girl at the press room? Forget her name.
I don't remember her name. I can't remember.
New Jen Psaki. I don't even remember the second. Jen Psaki is the last one I fucking remember. I'm sorry. I know there was another one in between. But New Jen Psaki said the same line, which means they coordinated this, which is basic because it's basically like they just need to make the first move. He goes, China wants to make it. No, here's the line. China wants to make a deal. They just don't know how. And the reporter said to him, do they need to pick up the phone and call you first? Is that what you're waiting for? And he's like, they want to make a deal. They just don't know how. Like, that's what you're saying. You're saying you want them to fold. This is all his art of the deal stuff all over again.
You got to stop with that. You've got to stop with that art of the deal.
That's how he works.
His art of the, first of all, he didn't even write the art of the deal. So get past that.
No, I'm just saying this guy gave the world his playbook 40 years ago. Shit. That's what he does. He talks fucking crazy. You come back around to this point, and then you get a deal, and then he feels like he wins. That's what he does.
Well, no, he creates a problem where there was none. He creates a problem. He reverses it, says, "Hey, look, I fixed the problem," and then everybody goes, "Yay! See, Trump's great. He just fixed that problem that we had." It was a problem because he made it a problem.
But he does it. He does the same. It's the same thing as going, I want $100 million for this $20 million property. And the people go, it's not worth $100 million. I don't care. And they wanted to pay you $5. And then you get up to 15. And then he feels like, I made $10 more million off. That's what he does. That's his negotiating stature.
That's not the same thing. That's a different strategy. His strategy is, let me piss everybody off and we'll see what happens with it. It's because he has his only motivation, and I'm basing this off of 4 years of presidency, another 4 years of being batshit, and however many years before that, is money. So whenever he can make money, that's what he does. Why do you think he cut back on all these regulations and CDC things and all this stuff? So he and his friends and his billionaire buddies and whoever can run their businesses without being checked. So that's where deregulation comes. Oh, I got rid of all these regulations. Well, those regulations are there for a fucking reason, you idiot. So once you took those away, people were more freely to do business in shady ways that you don't have to check what's in ingredients and what's going on here and what causes this disease and whatever. So that went out of control. Now with this tariff thing, he says tariff, and then he says, "Oh, no tariffs for a little bit," and then the stock market shoots up, and he makes millions of dollars, or whoever his friends make millions of dollars.
I get you. And by the way, Robin says he does idiot stuff, Anthony. I'm not saying this is great stuff. I'm telling you, he gave us his playbook years ago on how he negotiates. He's told people this is how I negotiate, and he's just doing it all over again. And every time everybody gets upset over it. I don't understand. Like that's why I was. But that's
I'm
why
I'm allowed to be mad at it because it's batshit, and he's pissing all over our allies. And he's the one country he didn't tariff was one of the few. He tariffed like 108. I don't know how many scores of countries that he tariffed, but Russia wasn't on the list. So why wouldn't he do the same thing to Russia? So there's that. There's the fact that everybody, literally everybody, except him and his suck-ups, told him tariffs are a bad idea. They don't work. They haven't worked in the past. They've never worked. And you're going to tank the stock market. So once those tariffs are in place, the stock market is going to crash. So everybody told him this. And it happened. And then he goes, oh, we're going to pause it. And so he paused it. Stock market shot back up. And he acted like a big hero. Like, well, you caused the crash. And just because you flicked the switch and said nope, and it came back, doesn't mean you're the hero. That means you just reversed this stupid decision that you made.
He's always going to do that, though.
You know what's stupid? The fact that how somebody says something determines the stock market. Like that just doesn't make sense.
That's exactly what it is.
Always.
But
because the stock market is based on feeling and based on you're buying stocks because you think it's going to be worth more. But the only way it's worth more is people get, what happens in the news and what happens in business. And so if the president comes out and says, why do you think he was shilling Teslas on the White House lawn? Because he was trying to raise the prices he was trying to raise the stock price for Tesla. And so once he gets behind something, it's going to be more, it's basically an endorsement. He's endorsing.
Well, in stability, like the stock market, it responds to stability, right? So if he doesn't
instability,
right, correct. If he doesn't interfere with tariffs, the stock market continues to do what he's doing. Once it's like, oh, they're going to be, are things going to change in business? That's why everybody starts to sell off because they're like, well, this could be really bad. The craziest part about all this is all based on theory. Like the guy, he's making these moves based off of theory. There's really no proof that this will work. He thinks it'll work in theory, but in
proof, it's never worked. They've had it. They've tried it in the 80s. They tried it, which led to the Great Depression. That's what happened in 29. And so if they've tried it multiple times and every time, this is what's happened.
Well, that's what it extended it. And they tried to tariff their way out of the depression. When the stock market crashed, they tried to tariff their way out of it. And that's what extended that.
I thought the tariff caused the depression.
It did. Correct me if I'm wrong. It extended the depression because it started with the stock market crash, and then it was the credits, and then they tried to tariff their way out of it, and that's what basically extended it. We would have probably gotten out of the depression sooner if it wasn't for the tariffs that they put in place that they eventually had to remove.
Well, Erin is in the chat, and she has a good quote here. You don't get to set the house on fire, then get credit for saving the dog.
But he does in his world. He does, and to be fair, it's not just him. The president in general gets that. Every president in general could come in and screw something up and then kind of fix it and make it better, and then get the credit for it. But
if you fix the problem you created, you don't get the hell. You're the greatest guy in the world. If you fix a problem that was there, or if you fix a problem that people have been working on for a while, and you come in. And it's that you didn't create the problem, but you're helping fix it. That's where you should get credit. But again, like Aaron said, if you set the house on fire, then you're not the hero here. And then you walk out with the dog. You're not the hero. I'm sorry. This is not a victory.
Well, listen, I'm not expecting you to love him. I'm not saying I love him.
Anthony, don't be crazy now.
But
give me one reason. Give me a reason why I should love him.
Well, what I was going to say was, I don't believe the tariff thing is going to work. But I think why people are giving him some benefit of the doubt is because at least he's trying to do something. Because you look at some of the reaction to this, and
anybody can try something, but when it's stupid.
But in government, I'm talking about in government. Nobody does anything anymore in government.
That's not true. People do things, but smarter things.
Well, what I was going to say is he is attempting to do something, like, because people who criticize him will say the same thing. What I'm going to say is, yeah, you need to fix trade with China, but this is probably not the way to do it. And especially, pretty much, you shouldn't really be tariffing our allies and friends and neighbors.
Yeah. Jon Stewart was, let's watch Jon Stewart. He was saying, yeah, trade, whatever. We should fix trade. But you don't go and, there's ways to do it without fucking everybody over.
Yeah.
You sit people down and you talk and you negotiate that way. These are your allies. These are your friends. You don't all of a sudden throw them, all these tariffs that now they got to charge $1 for stuff. Then it screws us because now we got to pay, all that difference. So there's ways to do it. He picked the worst proven way to do it.
Right. But the thing is we can't, China is a problem, and they have been for a long time. Mm-hmm. They don't really take a lot of goods from us, and I'm
not saying they're not.
Everything of theirs. We can't invest in Chinese companies. They won't allow it. And China is buying up farmland in the United States of America.
I'm all for fixing trade with China. I get it. But few things. One, pick up any pie made by Trump. Chances are it's made in China. That's the one. Number two.
Let's try something for a second. I'm going to agree. Before you even say everything, I'm going to agree with you and say that you are not wrong. But where your argument has a problem is the last Democrat and the Democrat before that and the Democrat before that didn't do shit to fix this issue, immigration, or any of the other things that this crazy asshole in the White House is doing right now, well or not well. And that's why people are giving him the benefit of the doubt.
Well, the difference is the Democrat before and the Democrat before and the Democrat before didn't do these batshit things because they knew it wouldn't work. And they knew it was awful. And they knew it was the worst way to do something. Like, how many stories now are we hearing?
Progressively got worse, did they not? The deficit got worse.
No, under every Democratic president, the deficit either decreased or was steady or whatever. Look at the deficit under every Republican president and Jimmy Carter. That Jimmy Carter, Democrat, and then every Republican president, the deficit got worse.
That is true. You're right. But we've still gotten to a bit. Okay, I'll give you that one. You're right.
Okay, thank you. Then. What was my other point? Hold on. Another point.
I'm not going anywhere. We can wait.
Oh, I had it.
This ain't the Meghan Markle podcast. We can wait for you. We got no.
Oh, I had a good one, and it just went right out of my head. Keep going. All right, you got it.
All right, I'll stretch while you wait.
I got it. Okay, so a couple of months ago, you were like, "Oh, this immigration thing is working. The ICE raids and all that. It's working. Fast forward to today, Hang on.
What? I don't know if I said it's working as much as I said. Working. Hold on. I think I said it's going over well. It's working from a standpoint of like people are loving it, and the left, even the left media, which would be criticizing him, is like, oh, this is going well.
And then I said, give it time. They'll start arresting people that they shouldn't be arresting. They'll start deporting people by mistake and not giving a shit.
We all knew that was going to happen. I said somebody's going to die during one of these raids.
Oh, then it's okay. If we all knew it was going to happen.
But I said somebody's going to die during one of these things. They haven't yet, but I still feel like that's going to happen.
People are being deported now that have no business being deported, and now they're stuck in countries. And the president is going, "Oh, we don't want him back. Or we don't want this person back." And it's like, what are you talking about?
All right, I'm going to tell you something.
Please.
I didn't do a story the other day because I didn't want you to lose your mind.
Was this the story?
I'm going to tell you what the story is now. There was a story out there, and this is 100% true. You could look this up. A guy, Trump supporter, voted for Donald Trump, several times, 3 times. Was coming back from a trip with his wife, who is an immigrant, right? Had a, whatever the thing is you get when you marry somebody when you're not born a citizen, but you marry somebody in the United States of America, right? So she's finishing up the process to become a citizen. They detained her at the border. They took her away from him, gave him no information, put her God knows where in some holding facility, right, to deport her back to her country. And with all of that, that man was like, I'm sure we'll get this figured out. I still support the president. I was like, wow.
That guy is a giant piece of shit.
No, he probably is the one who called on her.
That could be too.
She probably wasn't doing her wifely duties around the house. And,
is this the ICE hotline? Come to the airport.
But to be like, my wife is God knows where, detained. I don't know where they have her, but I trust the president to do the right thing. To be like that and not be like, give me back my wife. Yeah, you assholes.
Janine, that was hilarious. But I think it was actually their honeymoon. Now that I think about it, it was their honeymoon.
Yeah, definitely.
So they're still in the honeymoon phase. So although that was a hilarious bit, it's not the truth, because they're still probably, unless he thought I was making it. Maybe I made a mistake. Maybe you're right. Maybe your joke is true. Actually, now that I think about it.
Well,
I mean, you get. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, the problem with that is, first off, I don't think my husband would be too forthcoming in as far as like, oh, where is she? Give me her back. And I bet you 50% of the viewers right now would be like, nah, that's all right. I'll look for her maybe in a month or so. We're good.
You're right. Most men would wake up like 4 days later and go, "What was I supposed to do today? There's something."
You're an ass.
The whole day would go by. Like, oh, check on my wife. I forgot. I didn't call today. I fucking didn't call to see where she is.
Yeah. Right.
It's just it's just mind blowing. I'm sorry. I won't go on another rant about it. But
no. But listen. The reason why I bring it up is because you're not wrong to be incensed about some of these things. The cult-like following is for him is something again, to have a husband. To have a husband go, well, it's unfortunate, but I'm not going to waver in my support for the president because he put in policies to have my wife detained and arrested. Coming back from our honeymoon is amazing. It's something I've never seen. I mean, Janine, am I wrong? That's something that I've never seen before, that level of fanaticism for somebody. Okay.
Did Janine leave?
Oh, I'm here. What happened?
Okay, good. Never mind. It doesn't matter.
No, it completely froze.
Oh, okay.
But it's the he can do no wrong attitude is what pisses me off. Yeah. Like if it were Biden and Biden fucked something up, we've criticized Biden a million times. Well, whenever if he screws something up, if he puts in a policy that fucks up, or if he whatever, that's the difference. We could go, Biden fucked up. He didn't do this right, or he needs to reverse this, or whatever the problem is here. He's got to fix it. But his followers are like, whatever he does, they'll twist themselves into a pretzel to say, nah, he knows what he's doing. It's fine. It'll be okay. It's like, well, does it hurt you? Does it physically hurt you to admit that he fucked up, like in any way? The president should have done. The other day, I'll give you a good example. Nobody will say a word about it, but I'll give you a good example. He was in the Oval Office. He was doing an interview, and he was. He said he was talking. He said that he was talking to hostages that came back from overseas, and he was asking them questions. And one of the questions was were they treating you okay? Were they, giving you good, extra food, or were they telling you, telling you it's going to be okay or whatever? Were they showing you any kind of love like they did in Germany? Is that like? Do you not hear what you just said? Like you just said that the people in the Holocaust were shown love by the Germans, and nobody was like, if Biden had said something like that, or if Obama had said something like that, it would be the end. Everybody would flip their, but it didn't even blip on the radar.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Well, cream suit, right? That's your best example. Cream suit. The country, the world stopped when Obama wore a cream suit.
But it's so bad that him saying that the Nazis showed love to the Jewish people, their Jewish captives during the Holocaust. That doesn't blip on. Maybe it made a little headline here or there, but that isn't even the top story of the day. That is where we're at, and it's mind-boggling that's something that the president of the United States can say in the Oval Office, and nobody cares. That's what's blowing my mind. It's like, how? I mean, he said
because
this,
because he's doing. So I still don't think you're getting it that he's doing.
I know
something.
He's doing things, but anybody could do things. If I broke a window. Yeah, they're destructive. If I broke a window and I threw another, like a beer bottle at the window, I'm doing something, but it's not helping fix the window.
What I mean by that is, like, okay, let's take Obama for an example. Obama gave us Obamacare, the health. What is it?
Obamacare.
Yeah, but no, the real name. I was trying to figure it.
The Affordable Health Care.
Affordable Health Care Act. Thank you. Here's the Affordable Health Care Act. That was he pretty much burned his entire 8-year presidency trying to get that done.
And he got it done.
He got it done. But that's what he's known for. Like that, he did a lot of right. Oh, listen, he saved the car industry with the cash for clunkers.
He brought us out of the it wasn't a depression, but it was what's it called? Recession. 2008 recession.
The 2008 recession. Yep, cash clunkers was a big part of that. Yes, he did things, but what he'll be remembered for is the Affordable Care Act. It basically took him 8 years to do one thing. It's a big thing. It took him 8 years to do that.
But it failed. Oh.
It's still going.
It
failed miserably.
Trump's first, well, he had a lot of like the website and all that kind of, there was a lot of knocks against it. But Trump's first presidency, the only thing he really accomplished was the tax cuts. That was it. In 4 years, he did one thing. And by the way, it's not a grand thing. Every Republican has done some form of tax cuts in their presidency. So
you can't see when you say tax cuts, that undermines it. It's tax cuts for the wealthy. Nobody we didn't get tax cuts.
Not to speak. I'm on Frank's side right now. He's still yelling at me.
I'm just trying to highlight the facts here.
I got you. Listen, listen. I forgive you. I understand. I see red when Meghan Markle comes up too, so I know what it's like to be you now.
The other thing he'll be known for is royally fucking up the pandemic. Other than that,
well, all right,
killing hundreds of thousands of
COVID
people.
vaccine out.
All right, we're losing the point. We're losing where I'm trying to go with this, which is outside of the Affordable Care Act. I mean, very little has. I mean, I don't even remember what Clinton did. I mean, Clinton had the .com boom, so it was like one of the greatest.
I remember what he did.
Right, Clinton got a blowjob is basically what he's remembered for. Spewing on a dress is basically his big accomplishment. I'm trying to think what policy-wise he did.
He brought the debt down massively.
No, he didn't bring the debt down.
He did, and he also put
he balanced the budget so the debt didn't get worse. He didn't bring it down. He balanced the budget so the debt didn't get worse.
Okay, and he balanced the budget. That he also had the the ban on automatic weapons, the AR ban.
That's true. He did that,
which brought down a lot of brought down the numbers and deaths. And then when it ran out, they decided to not renew it, and then the deaths went right back up.
The weapons assault. Okay, yeah. So my point is that if you look at all the presidencies that we've had, there really hasn't been such massive progress. In fact, when Obama was...
Sorry, but that's what I always say. What did they actually really do? Nothing.
Very slowly. Obama, when he was president, said this. the tide, it turns slowly. The tide turns slowly, whatever the expression is. And that's true. Government moves very, very slowly. It takes years to get these big initiatives off the
It does.
ground.
The littler things,
Trump,
though, happen all the time, and we don't really hear about it,
I agree. Yeah,
or we never used to.
Yes, but Trump is trying to do like 4 big things all at once. I'm not saying he's doing them well, but he's looking at a period of stagnant presidencies, including his own first term, and saying to himself, I'm going to try and do a lot of different things at once. And that is why people are giving him the benefit of the doubt with a lot of this stuff that is going on that upsets you. Which I'm not saying you're wrong to be upset.
And he's also deficit, subverting the law by doing some of them. But yeah, sure, whatever he has to do.
The deficit during the Carter years was around $1 trillion or so, maybe a little bit more than that. That quadruples between the Reagan-Bush presidencies to about $4 trillion. Clinton kept it around 4 to 6, 7 trillion, right? And then during George Bush, it went up to 10 trillion. During Obama's presidency, it went up to 20 trillion. During the first Trump presidency, it went from 20 trillion to 28 trillion. And right now we're at 31 trillion. So Clinton was around 6 or 7 trillion. So between the year 2000 and in 25 years, we've went from 6 trillion to 31 trillion. And that is with an Obama presidency, a Trump presidency, and a Biden presidency. So the deficit has gotten out of control, and
the deficit always increases. It always. If I said deficit before, I didn't mean. I meant the economy and the stock market, and that's what Democrats always keep it level or bring it to a normal.
Before the Obama presidency. Obama took it from. In George Bush's last year, it was around 8 trillion, 9 trillion. And when Obama left office, it was at 20 trillion.
I wish I had my computer in front of me. The thing I look up things on is what I'm talking to you on, so I can't look anything up.
Well, but I'm not lying to you. These are
no.
national debt numbers.
To you with counterfacts is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
But every time a Republican comes into office, shit hits the fan, and then the Democrats have to clean it up.
That may be the case, and I believe that the Democrats have done fairly well with the economy.
Frank,
to fight
you hate Republicans. You hate them.
Yeah,
no, I dislike Trump, like a large amount.
But you're saying every time a Republican comes into office,
I didn't say I hate them. I say they what's it called? Increase the deficit dramatically, and they also the economy dips. Every time.
Robin says, hey, Aunt, W didn't put some shit on the books that Obama had to. I think there was because Bush had some tax cuts, right? And then between the war and then the eventual, Obamacare, I think that's why we go from the 8 or 9 trillion to 20 trillion is basically what happens there.
Yeah.
But it's out of control. Everybody agrees that it's out of control. Trade's a part of it. And he's trying to fix all these things at once. And I don't know if he's doing any of them well. Time will tell. Did you see that meme of people? Somebody in China made like an AI TikTok of like if they were making iPhones in America, and it was like a bunch of fat Americans standing around like putting iPhones together. I was like, this is pretty insulting.
Yeah, no, I saw that. I'm just waiting to hear how. Go ahead.
No, you go.
I'm just waiting to hear how all this is Biden's fault.
Well, he made it. They do. They've already done it. They've already been like, well, the Trump wouldn't have to do these drastic things if Biden had fixed this. They've already said that.
I can't.
So why are you surprised by this? You shouldn't be surprised.
I can't do it. I can't. They were handed an economy that was on its way up. And there's, we were handed the worst economy ever.
I don't know.
Not according to the numbers.
Yeah, I mean, but a lot of that was like, listen, I like to call out bullshit and say, what's funny? The Democrats just the other day, a couple days ago, they announced like a war room type of approach to policy. You know, they're basically saying we're reacting to things too slowly. We're going to put together, the Democratic Party announced this. You can go look it up. They hired Amy Klobuchar's old campaign, person, and they're putting together a war room because they're like, well, the Republicans, as soon as something happens, Republicans have like a response, and they're so uniform together, and like the Democrats finally realized that they are not, and it's like, yeah, you have failed. You have failed in this aspect of being able to communicate what you're doing. But by the way, they don't even agree on message. They don't even agree on policy and what they want to message, let alone putting an actual message together.
I get it. And the reason is because one side is following this guy like he's the second coming, and they'll say, and they'll toe the party line, and they'll no matter what he does, that's the move. They can't say, which is weird. Here's a weird thing. Rand Paul, who sucks on every level, actually said that these tariffs are a mistake, which is very weird. But he's like the lone Republican who said something negative about the tariffs. But everybody else is falling in line. And that's, you can't be surprised that the Republicans' message is all the same and they're on the same level, because that's what happens when you're in a cult. Sorry. But when you follow this guy, and he lays out the playbook, they're all going to have the same message. So when the Democrats don't have the numbers right now, they don't have the House, they don't have the White House, they're going to be a little scattered, and it sucks. But they need a leader, and right now we don't have one.
Well, that's because of the way liberals act and behave. Because there's plenty of stuff that should have taken Donald Trump down, and it didn't, because people are like, I don't care policy over who he is as a person, right? But this happens to the Democrat. Like you, okay, let me say it this way. Gavin Newsom is the guy. He's the guy. I said this 10 years ago, 5 years ago, and I'm saying it now. Gavin Newsom is your next Democratic president. Nobody can touch him. Not Pete Buttigieg, not AOC, not even Bernie Sanders, nobody. I think that Newsom with Bernie as VP would be a real winning combination, but I don't know if those two egos will get there. Newsom's the guy. He's the only one who could do it. Not Josh Shapiro, certainly not Walz, God love us, not Kamala. Those are all losers, okay? It's Newsom. You watch, when his time is come, the left will take him down for not supporting transgender people. They'll take him down for talking to Charlie Kirk. They just that party just eats themselves alive because they can't put policy in front of fair and acceptance and DEI. Like, they've taken wonderful things and ruined all of them.
Well, to be fair, that's the way it should be. Hear me out. You shouldn't be, let's follow this guy or a girl, man or woman, to the ends of the earth, no matter what he says or does. It shouldn't be that way. It should be.
They take it out. They take it way too far.
You should be allowed to criticize the person in charge for doing something you don't agree with, and that's.
I agree with that.
If they happen to be in your party, then that's fine. It should be country over party, and that's what it should be. So
wouldn't that be nice?
So Democrats, with your example, they're doing the right thing. Republicans are Trump over everything.
And even you have said
you believe in your point, though.
Even you have said you believe in forgiveness culture instead of cancel culture, and in that statement, admitting that people take shit too far, and it's the people on the left. Once they get once you get the craziest side of that party to calm down, the Democrats will be in better shape.
The thing is, it can't be the rights. The right is it's all or nothing. We have to get behind everything he does, no matter how terrible we think it is.
Frank, you're proving your point.
Paul's killing me tonight.
Frank,
I am proving my point.
No. I mean, you're proving your own. Okay, here. You're saying that you can't believe that people follow Trump and it's all or nothing.
Right.
But yet you always say Republicans this, Republicans that. So for you, it's all or nothing as well then. Because that's how you feel. You lump everybody
No,
together. Yes, you do. You do it all the time.
I've criticized what the Republicans are doing when they do something bad. If they do something
But
right,
no,
great.
but here, when you talk, you always say the right or Republicans, the right. You don't ever like you
I'll
lump
criticize the
everybody
Democrats if
together.
you want. I've criticized. Yeah, no, I've criticized because when they do it as a party. They do it all together. I just said, what's his name? Just went out of my head. I just said his name. That he's the lone guy that's on the right out of
And
the
Paul.
Republicans. Rand Paul. He was the only guy that was like, yeah, these tariffs are a mistake. He's an asshole. The guy sucks. But he's the one guy that was like, yeah, these tariffs are terrible. If a Republican does something right, then great. But for the most part, they're toeing the line every time. But when one stands out, Meghan McCain, every now and then she'll side with the Democrats and say, "Yeah, well, I'm not going to." She hates Trump. She's a Republican. She hates Trump, but she does Republican shit. She does Democratic shit. So I'm not going to sit here and But in general, the Republicans, that party, in power, I'm saying the people in the government tend to just do it's all or nothing. No matter what Trump does, we're going to kiss his ass, because if you don't, you're on the outs with him and he wants nothing to do with you. And it's run kind of like the mafia. If you don't kiss his ass, you're out of the family and you don't get any special treatment. It's like, if you don't follow this rule, he's doing the same thing. He's bullying states. If you don't follow this rule, we're not giving you funding. Like that. You can't, that's not how it works.
Never go against the family.
Right. Never go against the family. I can't. So it's just this mentality of we got it. When Biden was in office, Democrats criticized him. There were Democratic leaders that said, "No, Biden should have done this or shouldn't have done that." What?
You look what happened when George Clooney. I actually didn't say anything. I don't know why you said what.
I think you said what?
No,
You were
no,
starting to say something.
no. I was gonna say George Clooney criticized him, and that was the last.
That was, I don't know. That was it.
That one was a doozy.
That was a doozy. But yeah, so it was. Yeah, we all admitted when Biden lost the presidential debate terribly. Every Democrat was like, "Yeah, that was a massacre. That was terrible." But
wait, hold on a second.
But when Trump loses a debate, the right side is like, "Oh, did you see that debate? Trump kicked their ass. It kicked his ass. It was the best debate I've ever seen in my life." Tell me I'm wrong.
No, I remember Trump got walloped by Kamala, and he was like, "We won by 97 points. It was amazing.
It was the best debate ever." No.
Alicia's asking if I'm an only child. What is this? First of all, Frank's having the meltdown currently. Let's examine Frank's problems.
I'm not having a meltdown. I'm just spitting facts here. Ask me questions, I'll answer you.
Well, she should be picking on you. I mean, she wants to ask me if she wants to psychologically
if I screwed up numbers before, when we were talking about since Carter, the whole thing, I may have said tariffs or not tariffs. I may have said the deficit or the debt. I think I just mixed up I think it was the economy. I just mixed up my words. Don't quote me on any of that because I can't remember the exact figures. But I know that there was fluctuations when the Democrats are in power. Things seem to level off and be okay money-wise. When Republicans are in power, everything seems to dip for some reason.
I do have a system. My point is that we should be analyzing Frank during these segments. If you want to pick on me during the Meghan Markle segments, you can. But right now, let's focus on Frankie's issues.
Janine, Look, Mercury please, says, if you disagree with what I'm saying,
Mercury says you're fine. Let's go with what Mercury says. You're just fine.
Janine said, "See what I mean? What do you mean?"
Because you lump.
No, I'm saying the Republicans in power, the president, Republican president.
But you always say the right, and when you say that, you're lumping everybody together. Correct?
Depends on what I'm talking about. No, because if I say the right, I could be talking. In most cases, I'm talking about the people in power, the government, the right, the government on the right.
I think Janine wants you to stop lumping in Rand Paul with the rest of them. That's
Yeah,
her
I
point.
mean, hello. Like, two of my friends met at a Rand Paul, what's it called, rally, and they're married.
Hopefully not at. Hopefully
And
not
you
at.
know them. You know them.
Hopefully not at a school he was teaching at.
I was going to say I would be embarrassed to admit I had friends that went to a Rand Paul rally. I mean, I can't imagine a more boring.
Unfortunately, you know them.
I do?
Yes, you do.
If you had to ask me to find a location where there are more unfuckable people, a Rand Paul rally would be
You
the
know what's
place I would
funny?
pick.
This guy's pretty hot. So that's
Really?
Yeah.
Who? I need to know who this is. Is it one of the others?
It's one of the others from a different group. But
Other
I know nothing about. I know nothing about Rand Paul. I know zero. I just know
I was mixing Rand Paul with Jim Jordan. Forget it.
All I know is that
Rand Paul did side with the Democrats on the tariffs. When I said don't work at a school, they didn't meet at a school. I was talking about Jim Jordan. Go ahead.
The only place more unfuckable to find people than a Rand Paul rally is a Jim Jordan rally.
Jim Jordan, yeah.
Sorry. Go ahead, Janine. You were saying something.
I'm texting in the group.
Okay. Yeah, I need to know who this is because I can't imagine. I don't even know who that is.
Yes, you do.
Okay. That's what I was going to guess.
I didn't get it. Did I get it?
What? Are you for real? I did get it. No, I can't believe that. Like, that's weird. That's weird.
I don't know who that is either.
Who goes to a Rand Paul rally? Jesus Christ.
You know him.
By the way, have you seen Bernie's? Bernie has been like filling arenas lately. There's like
Bernie
a new
and AOC together.
Yeah, but even without her, he did a couple without her, and people are because here's why I think Bernie hasn't. Yeah, well, because I've said this before, there's not that much of a difference in 2015 between Bernie Sanders and Donald Trump. They're saying things differently, but they're saying the same thing, right? There's not. It's the people who are frustrated with the machine that those two people appeal to, right? And so,
but he's saying that his message is very different. His message is tax the billionaires, and Trump's message is lower taxes for billionaires.
I'm saying from a standpoint of the Democrats and the Republicans can't get anything done. Those two seem to be really together on that whole thing. And no, I mean, listen, I don't know why you guys have such a problem with this. The people who couldn't vote for Bernie to be president voted for Donald Trump. That is a proven fact. That is a proven fact.
So people who supported Bernie went to Donald Trump's side. Are you nuts?
Independents who were supporting Bernie did not want to vote for Hillary. A large chunk of them voted for Donald Trump. This is not.
I don't think it's that large a chunk. As large a chunk as you're saying.
It is. Listen, I'm not. Bird says no. We did not. I'm not saying everybody did it. I'm not saying every last person did it.
If there were people that did that, I don't think it's a big chunk.
A lot of people did it. Believe me. I could bring up the numbers. A lot of people in exit polls said that they did. Anyway, you distracted me from the point I was going to try. Oh,
thank God.
What I'm saying is, I think why Bernie is filling arenas now is because those same people that are in the middle and don't really care about party so much, they just want progress. I think they're going, if this Trump continues to screw things up, Bernie will be our next, because I don't think anybody wants to go back to the Clintons or the Bushes or these establishment people
I get it,
that have gotten us nowhere.
But Bernie's whole message is Trump is an oligarchy, and we can't have that in the president right now.
I'm not saying those two don't disagree with each other. I understand that, but you have to admit they are both outside of the average politician people.
Okay.
That's what's appealing to a lot of Americans.
I agree.
So anyway, Pizza Hut.
Yeah. What type of caviar and how much are they charging?
This is a new thing now that people are doing. I don't know if you've noticed this, but people are making caviar out of lots of material that's not really caviar.
That's been a thing. They make it out of soy. They make it out of what's it called? I want to say like oil, like olive oil.
Maybe Pizza Hut
You
is
take like
making it.
water and you drop it into you drop olive oil and then something happens, coagulates, and then you make it. I can't remember how it's done.
Right. So Pizza Hut is making their caviar eggs out of pepperoni.
Okay, so it's just basically little balls of pepperoni.
Little boba balls of pepperoni is essentially what they're putting on top of a pizza.
Tell me we have a picture of this.
I do actually. I do. Yeah.
Because I have to see this.
They're calling it pizza caviar.
I mean,
it is.
Yeah, there it is.
There it is right there. And ironically and oddly, they're going to serve it starting tomorrow, Thursday, April 10th, through April 12th at one location in New York City.
Wait, what? So, all right. So this isn't this is just a one-time 3-day thing.
I don't know. I don't know if this is like a pilot program or it's just a headline grabber because it got me. I was like,
I think this is a promotion for Pizza Hut just to get Pizza Hut in the news.
Oh yeah, 1,000,000,000%. Yes, undisputed. What I'm saying is, I don't know if they're going to roll this out nationwide in like 2 weeks, based off of.
Well, depends on how much they're charging. 2, how much does it cost to make whatever these things are? I mean, if it's just tiny balls of pepperoni, then it can't cost that much. But if it's something else to it, like if it's because they seem shiny and like caviar-like, so if there's some other ingredient that we're not aware of, then you gotta. Is it cost effective, or is this just a loss leader to get people in the Pizza Hut door and talking about Pizza Hut again?
Yeah, I think quite possibly it's the latter. Because they're putting it on their French fries. I didn't even know Pizza Hut had French fries.
I didn't know that either.
They're putting it on their chicken bites, and of course, they're putting it on their pizza. You know what I find funny about this? I don't trust Pizza Hut's pepperoni in its regular form, let alone this new.
It's not. Is it boar's head? I don't know if it's boar's head.
I don't know what it is, but I don't trust it in,
Hormel.
Oh God, Hormel just sounds like a bad thing.
Hormel is a good pepperoni company.
Last story of the night, Frankie C.
Wow, we didn't spend much time on Pizza Hut at all.
Yeah,
that was a 60-second little thing.
I'm trying to avoid another 2-hour episode here.
Well, we're creeping up on it.
Kevin McMahon, this guy who was born in Jamaica Hospital, very close to where Frankie, myself, and J Sabs grew up. Yeah, that was basically if you got shot in our neighborhood, that's where you went. You went to Jamaica Hospital. He took a 23andMe. He's 64 years old. He took a 23andMe and realized that his parents were not actually his parents. And then he did a lot of tracing and realized that he was switched at birth, that at Jamaica Hospital, they gave him to the wrong parents. And now he is suing. He's suing everybody because
don't look at him wrong because you're gonna get sued.
Dude, his siblings would joke that the mailman dropped him off because he didn't look like them. His father, there was a little resentment that his grandmother, his father's mother, abused him as a child because the grandmother thought that the wife cheated on her son. So she abused him for years. All because of this simple little mistake in the hospital.
It's a big mistake. I don't know if it's a simple mistake.
This was 64. He's 64 years old. So 64 years ago. So not too long before you and I were born.
Did he find his family? Is
dead? Parents are gone.
Everybody.
Yeah. By the time he found out.
Siblings? Anybody?
Oh, I don't know if he had siblings.
Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know if he had siblings, but
aunts, uncles, cousins. I mean, there's got to be other family from the family that gave birth to him.
Maybe, but I mean, he's 64. The damage has been. He lived.
Oh yeah, no, that's just
a horrible. Because some idiot. And by the way, he got mixed. His last name is McMahon. He got mixed with it. There was another McMahon family there. And that's how they, could you imagine the two McMahon babies? Wait, which one? I mean, and changed the course of this man's life. He had a terrible upbringing.
Ugh.
All because some doctor, nurse, whoever made a
64
mistake.
years ago. I'm sure there are ways now to prevent all that. But back then, yeah, I mean, I don't know what advances have been made in order to prevent stuff like that from happening.
You want to know what it is?
Yeah.
They immediately slap a little bracelet around the kid's leg. That's it.
That's it.
That's it. It's got a little tag on, so you can't take the kid anywhere. It's got a little tracker on it, so you can't take the kid out. You can't steal the kid shit, like, because people do that too. People come in and like steal other people's babies all the time. But you can't. So you always have that bracelet doesn't come off that kid until you're outside of the hospital. So because they scan it right away and they know who you belong to, so that they don't get a chance to mix it up ever again. But
I mean, I'm sure the numbers
it's only
are
a bracelet. It's
right.
I'm
sure the numbers are way down from what they were 64 years ago. But I wonder how often it happens today, if it does still happen.
I don't know.
I mean, I feel that what I wonder is, like, parents there, they give birth. Why, unless there are tests that need to happen or there's some kind of, God forbid, problem, why would the baby be taken away out of sight anyway?
Well, they take the babies to the nursery and all that stuff. They take the babies.
Why? Leave the baby in the room with the parent. Well, just make the room parent and child accommodating.
No, a lot of times they put them in the nursery so that the parents can get sleep. I know that sounds terrible.
I get that. That makes sense. But how long is I don't know these. I'm asking these questions because I don't know. How long does the mother, how long do they stay in the hospital after giving birth? Maybe Trump can tariff babies next.
We're going to put a tariff on the bracelets that they put to babies.
No more of this. We're not going to have babies switched anymore. I know this happened 64 years ago, but we're going to put a stop to it right now. That's a big problem, big issue. I've been told. I don't know.
Yeah. What was your question? Does it still happen?
How long does after giving birth?
Oh,
if there's no issues, how long does the parent stay in the hospital?
2 days now. I think it used to be 3 days or 5 days, but it's only 2 days. They literally kick you the fuck. Like, they can't wait. They're like, "Are you bleeding? No. Okay, get the fuck out."
Right. So I feel like maybe. I mean, there are cases, obviously, where the mother is alone and is giving birth. But if there's someone else there, maybe there's like 2 small rooms. You have the mother in one, like the husband or the person or the wife or the person who's staying with
maybe
the person giving birth in the next. Just, I would not want the baby out of sight. That's all.
Oh,
I mean, I know there's fail safes and whatever, but
no,
like, all right, where you going with my kid? Where,
You do. I'm telling you, you do. When the nurse took my son out of the room for the first time, I was like, thank God that thing is gone. I just can finally fucking No, but I swear to God, it's strange, but you feel this I never thought, oh, they're going to confuse him. It never even occurred to me. I was just like, oh, he's in the hands of professional. Don't give him to me. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Mom's down for the count right now. He's in the hands of professionals. Yeah. Great. Let's all rest up for a little bit and then we'll get back out there.
Maybe the nursery is literally a glass wall next to the mom's bed and the nurse comes in and out right there.
Yeah.
And maybe the mom can hear it slightly, but it's not enough to wake her up. So the nursery, I'm just saying, maybe put a plexiglass divider down the room, have the kid over there. Nurse comes in and out like he or she would for the mother.
Yeah.
The nurse comes in and out for the kid, and that's where the kid stays.
You're being a little insensitive, and I'll tell you why.
Okay, good.
You're not realizing the other side of this. Like, a terrible thing happened to me during both my children's childbirth, which is when we were leaving the hospital, they gave us both our actual children. And to this day, it haunts me. And I don't want to say this out loud, but I even slipped the nurse a fin. I was like, here's $5 for yourself. Go get an extra soda. Maybe I noticed, you see that smart looking couple down the hall?
You think a 5 would have done that?
I pumped it up to a 20. She still wouldn't go for it. She had morals or something.
Well, then that's on her.
I was talking to that guy, and he's a doctor, and they seem like they got a lot of money. So let's see what
that kid was not making a lot of noise either. So what do you think?
And
she said,
she goes to me. She goes, you mean the Chinese couple? I go, don't bring race into this. That's not what it's about. No, it's not appropriate right now. No. I'm trying to make a deal here. Yeah. We're trying to improve lots of lives. My kid
who's
will
doing something insensitive? Come on,
right?
Who's in the wrong here? Me for trying to switch my kid, or you for bringing up race?
You bring up a good point. I should have reported her. Should have reported her.
Doctor.
Yeah. I said to her, I go, my kid will enjoy their life a lot better. And I go, this new baby will elevate our life when they grow up super smart and get a great job,
Yeah, and that inevitable moment when they go, hey, I just got my 23andMe back. We need to chat.
Well, I think one day when he realized, hey, Dad, I think I'm Chinese and you're not, I think that would have been...
That would have been a giveaway, too.
And you know what? It's better that didn't happen, because who knows how much I'd have to pay for that kid now with all the tariffs that are
going. You see, there's a line, and you just trounced right on it.
Hello, is this Anthony? I understand you.
Oh, God.
What race is your baby? Just right. We're going to send you a form if you could fill it out. That's wrong.
That is wrong. You're
it feels wrong.
We're in a weird place now. You brought it back.
Sorry. But yeah, imagine. Okay, so here's my question, because you said 23andMe. What's worse? Never knowing if he dies without ever knowing that he was switched, or knowing how much better your life could have been if some fucking dope didn't make that mistake 64 years ago?
Well, what's worse is probably knowing, because if you don't know, then if you never know, then you're just living your life as normal. But if you find out,
ignorance is bliss.
Right.
Yeah.
I think in that situation, I mean, yeah. I mean, it's because just finding out doesn't change anything unless, he's going to sue. So I guess that'll change stuff for him.
Love to get him some money. Yeah. Love to get him some. Well, and that's the other thing too. If 23andMe is a more common thing 30 years ago, then you're 34. At least you have a chance to change, getting that, finding that out and suing for money. Then you have opportunity to live still at 64. I
think I could still live for, go another 30 years. 35,
Yeah.
I could have lived to 100, 110.
Tina's missing my point. I think a lot of people are. They are different people, Bernie and Trump. I'm not saying that. They appeal to the same people. There's a large, I know what you're saying, but there's a huge portion of this country that is tired of the same old political machine, and they would vote for anything that was different, especially in 2015 going into the 2016 election. And those two would have been amazing going head to head. We didn't get that.
I would have loved Bernie, and I think
that's why
I wanted him to get the nomination.
Trump won. I know he did. Everybody did.
Yeah.
Everybody did, except for the Democratic Party, who fucked it up. And I think that's why Trump won, because nobody wanted her. Even people that didn't want to vote for him wound up voting for him because they just didn't want her.
Blech.
I know. I'm exhausted now.
Yeah, I gotta go to bed.
Do you think if I brought my kid back to the hospital, they'd give me another baby?
You have the receipt?
Fuck.
Yeah, see? Always hang on to that.
Should have held on to those things. I knew it. My accountant told me that.
All right. You got the bracelet. Trade that in.
Yeah. I got the bracelet. Hold on, I got the bracelet here somewhere. Yeah, you think it's some great big technology. Like somebody said, put an Apple tag on the baby. It's not even that. It's literally just an old barcoded,
Yeah, this predates the Apple tag.
Yeah, poorly laminate. You know when you put shitty laminate, when you laminate something just awful onto.
They cut it wrong and it pokes the kid in the arm with a sharp part. That's not good.
That's exactly what it is.
No.
Anyway, I think we gave the people a lot of entertainment in under 2 hours, my friend.
I don't know if I'd call it entertainment, but we gave them something.
They were entertained. Listen, Meghan Markle will never be able to do what we did in the last hour and 55. Okay,
I'll give you that.
Never. Because another thing about her. No, okay, I'm just kidding.
Pick up Oval, everyone. Written by Aaron.
Get Oval. Link in the description. Damn it. Go get that. People need it.
Show me potato salad.
Enjoy your Thirsty Thursday. We'll catch you Friday.
Maybe we should go now. Go ahead.
Game time Friday. I'm excited. What is